Your reading, so I'm going to read the field for you today, and I'll just see what I can pick up, what you may be moving through, any confirmation, advice and insight that I can get for you. So you can kick back, relax. I'm going to be here for, I think so far it's been half an hour if I'm not mistaken, yeah. So let's see. Actually, I want to do the spread different. I'll do it like this. I got 3 of Wands, a Knight of Wands, Sun, Fool, 2 of Swords, the Devil, 8 of Wands, 10 of Swords, and 4 of Wands, the underlying energy. Okay. What I instantly got is that you seem to be, like the topic at hand is observing, or an awareness that you're getting around observing your nervous system. In other words, if you're not doing this yet, this could be exactly what you're being encouraged at the time, to really start observing and becoming more aware as to when do you feel like you can feel your nervous system spiking. In other words, those of you that deal with anxiety, you may already be super hyper aware of when you get anxious or how the sensation feels in your body. But for those of you that don't do that yet, I'm more getting it like circumstantial, like becoming more aware in what circumstances, what situations, what people, what environment spike your nervous system or spike your anxiety or just make you feel sort of dysregulated and unstable to some degree. Unstable doesn't mean doesn't have to be like just out of your baseline. You know, I just meant because unstable can be like really, really bad, like where you literally feel like you need to get like professional help, but I don't feel it to that degree is what I wanted to say. Just more like unstable in the sense of, if you know what your normal baseline is, what situation, what people, what environments trigger you to come out of your baseline. And for those of you that don't know what your baseline is, that's what I'm hearing. It would be good to find that out, and one way to find that out is, unfortunately or fortunately, is the best way to find it out is if you do go through a period of isolation. And for a lot of you, that is part of your spiritual awakening anyway, or part of an awakening, that you do tend to go through periods of isolation exactly for this reason as well, that you learn you learn your baseline, you learn your blueprint, you learn what your energy feels like. If you're constantly surrounded by people day in, day out, oftentimes you do not know what that is. And that's why people also tend to get really easily manipulated or peer pressured, or they think like everyone else and they dress like everyone else, because they never needed or never gave themselves the opportunity to actually find out who they truly are. So it goes a little bit deeper. There's like layers to this, where it's not just 1-2 weeks of being alone. It's gonna help to some degree, but if you really wanna touch on deeper layers within yourself, it will be a longer process that some of you just get initiated into. You know, some just get caught on that path and others do not, and there's not really right or wrong. It's more as well, I guess I'm hearing identity crisis though. So someone might stumble across this video that is exactly feeling that, like you're feeling the calling, or you're feeling how you're getting pulled on a path that may be away from your peers and maybe away from your family, and that can feel kind of scary, because what do you do when you're being left to your own devices, for example? And that can feel really very threatening, especially, studies have shown that we like being a part of a tribe, we like being a part of a community, or even some people love being a part of a hive mind where they don't have to think for themselves because it gives them security and safety. And when that is sort of taken away from you or pulled like underneath your feet, you can start wobbling a bit until you recalibrate. And the recalibration will be like when you recalibrate on your own, and when you recalibrate by you immersing yourself within your energy and understanding who you are at the core or at deeper layers, then the recalibration holds though, and you come out of that stronger. So I don't know where exactly you are at, because this, like I said, is a longer journey that apparently some of you are being initiated on or being called on. I'm just going to break down the cards more one by one, because that just seemed to be sort of the baseline of what I'm reading for you. With the Three of Wands and the Knight of Wands, what can happen, again, whether you're at the beginning stage of this, whether you're in the middle, whether you've already been on this journey for years, what seems to be coming up is a sort of newfound, I'm getting it as like a spike of passion and even creativity. It can be both, but I am hearing it seems to be, for some of you, it seems to be tied to Kundalini activation, which can be extremely intense in itself. I don't feel like I need to touch up on that too much right here, because there's so much on the internet you can read up on that. But what I can say is, like a surge in creativity, or surge in passion, and even passion in romance, like suddenly finding yourself feeling that again, feeling what the frequency of romance looks like and feels like in your life. So maybe you shut yourself off from that, maybe you weren't stable enough to receive that, or you were just immersed in your own field and it wasn't a priority. But I'm seeing a surge in that. So whether you feel that right now or it is to come, you will see for yourself. You can also comment and come back to the video at any time that you feel like, or you remember and you want to share. But that seems to be indicated here. And with the Sun and the Fool, you will be thrown into situations or even relationships or opportunities of getting into relationships, again, whether it's for season, whether it's for longer, that ultimately will bring a lot of happiness and a lot of joy. And also sort of, it feels like one era is coming to an end and a new one is beginning. And for others, it is exactly this, like coming out of isolation or coming out of hermit mode, that for some was a longer period of time, like where you really recalibrated to your own system, that you can now emerge. Just I'm hearing going through life very differently than before, because when you have this baseline that you seem to have, or that you're being initiated into if you're at the beginning stages, there's the way you will approach situations, relationships, anything really, will be from an unshakable core. Because those of you that know yourself at a deeper layer, which, mind you, not a lot of people do, especially in today's day and age, where, like I already picked up on, I already shared with you and already said, there's a lot of people that love and only feel safe when they're sort of part of a hive mind, where they don't have to think for themselves and they can just follow templates. And we're gonna dress the same way, we're gonna fix up our face that we all look the same, we're gonna talk the same, we're gonna listen to the same music. You seem to be a bit of an anomaly, like when it comes to that, and you must know that. So if you have history of not really fitting in, or just kind of not following trends, not like, there's a strong spirit within you that has been and is breaking out of you. Again, whether you're at the beginning stages, whether you're just being initiated, or whether you already have gone through a longer period of this, I just see you emerging out of a sort of cocoon. And it is with a very strong sense of self. And that is setting you up for a really beautiful life. Like, it's setting you up for really choosing joy as well. And I'm hearing that a longer period of suffering is coming to an end. And that doesn't mean you're never going to be sad again, or you're not never going to experience suffering, but what you've been walking through, and what some of you are being initiated to walk through, it's just really, it made you solid in a way that is hard to shake you. Like what you may have experienced before, because I'm getting for some of you there was real fragmentation that occurred prior to the initiation or prior to you walking this path. And fragmentation can be extreme pain, extreme suffering, extreme like trauma that can cause fragmentation, and that, okay, so here's where it gets a little bit, I don't know if you want to call it paranormal, but you can become feeding ground for entities if you stay in a lower state that the fragmentation may have caused. What you've been initiated through, and what some of you are getting initiated through, has sealed you in a way where you're not feeding ground anymore. Like, it's hard, or it's becoming hard to feed on you. It's becoming hard to, I'm hearing like twist narrative, like there's gang stalking, there's a lot that you've been through that you've come out unscathed, basically. So this is as well a part of this like shift of coming out of an old era into a new era where you will not be faced with like spiritual attacks and like low frequency entities as you have been prior. So it's also sort of it's a strengthening of your field. There's a strengthening of your auric field. But again, it comes with a lot of the path you walked is not easy and wasn't easy, and that's where I have touched upon this as well. Where I kept getting that not few, like it's not uncommon to get called on this path, but it is less frequent that people walk it to the end, or they don't revert back to what is comfortable and familiar when it gets really hard. And I have talked about this with clients as well that work with me and really at one point go through the ringer, because the dismantling of structures and even like allowing yourself to access deeper layers and allowing yourself to get to know yourself at a deeper than I want to say is accessible, but it's not the full truth, because some just choose not to go there because it is and can be scary, like being confronted with your limitations, being confronted with failures, being confronted with generational pain and patterns that have been running within the family that nobody wanted to address, and then you're the one that goes there. It's not for the faint of heart. So what I wanted to share is that I do at times need to talk my clients through this when they hit really dark edges where it can ultimately feel like things are getting worse before they get better. But you can see it as a sort of like cleaning out and like even a purging of what you cannot take, like a dismantling of what doesn't serve anymore and what hasn't served for millennia even, but nobody wanted to address it. And now we're in the territory of like breaking generational curses and really being the one that steps in for whole family lines, which also is in connection with the entities I was picking up on, like becoming feeding ground or being feeding ground for entities that some would call it curses. There's different ways of looking at this, and it's not, I don't know how to explain this to you, because it seems like that was part of your purpose of even coming down here, like whether your ancestors chose you or you chose to be the one, was always like, yeah, I'm gonna do it, send me down. But it isn't even so much you have to do. It's really like your frequency that you've just been put here with already seems to, like, your energy has qualities of, those Buddhist bells, like, I don't even know if they're Buddhist, but like bells that we sometimes use to sort of get rid of, I guess, darker energies or darker frequencies or lower frequencies, like I don't know how to explain this. Well, I do know how to explain it, but I guess those of you that don't know what I'm talking about don't know what I mean by this. But it's like you have a frequency that expels darkness, and that can be or feel like a really heavy load to carry, because we all carry darkness for one, but also exactly within family, like within lineages, within generational, like there can be so much dysfunction and so much trauma that was either just swept under the rug, or nobody talks about it. We keep it secret, we keep it hidden. And then when a being gets born, like apparently you are, or that has chosen to come down to exactly expel and sort of sweep out and clean out what you don't want, like, being passed down, basically. It's like you're the cleanup crew. And you may have noticed this, you may have had tendencies growing up, or just remembering, that you would either be very confrontational, or you would call out things that others would be like, shush you and say, no, don't speak about this, we don't speak about this. Like, there's something about you that is very courageous even. Like, I feel your energy is very potent in the sense that you don't hold back. You have a sense of purpose, and you've had a sense of purpose from a very young age. And that as well is why you are being called on a path that not many walk. Could be that more are being called on it than we know, but not many actually choose to walk it, and not many have that internal structure where they're even capable of walking a path alone for a while, without support, without family support, without friends, without like the structure solely coming from yourself. That is very rare. Like, that is not, you won't come across a lot of people that can carry themselves that way, or can even walk through the fires, because this is like, this takes courage. This is like, I keep getting that this is not for the faint of heart, but you must know that as well. Especially, again, it's like, I feel like I'm picking up on different, like, collectives within the collective. Some are at the beginning stages, some are in the middle, and some are already exactly at this stage where it's now pushing. It's now like, okay, an era has ended, and now a new one is starting. It's like you made friends with darkness. You made friends with the dark. You may also not be so, like, I'm getting a sense that certain things don't scare you anymore that may have scared you before. Like, there's something about, like, certain things don't disturb you anymore, or like, you've really been through it. I definitely this didn't come from studying, like reading books or just watching movies. Like, this came through lived experiences. You lived through initiations that not everyone either can walk through, can survive, or even has that structure. That's what I mean. Like, this doesn't seem like it was a choice. Like, what may have been a choice is that you stuck through it and you didn't give up, and you didn't give up when it got hard, and you didn't give up when you wanted to give up. Like, at the same time, you are built for this. Tell me more about the Eight of Wands and the Ten of Swords. So that's what is becoming really apparent as well, and what is actually also, you attract a lot of comparison. Like, people like comparing themselves to you, but what seems to become very clear is exactly like that. You have a structure that cannot be, it's impossible to imitate it, it's impossible to pretend to be like you, because whoever does try that has not lived through what you've lived through. They have not gone through what you've gone through. They haven't lived those experiences, and they're not meant to. They have a different path, so it's not even coming from you of like, oh, I'm superior and I'm better. Like, I don't get that from you at all. But it's like, you have people that look at you superior. They see you as someone superior, and that then causes a mixture of admiration and envy and comparison, and just not, like, you may also get people that are just extremely rude to you out of nowhere, and then you get others that instantly feel aligned and just want to be close to you and want to be a part of you, I heard, or part of your, and like, just want to sit in your energy. And that also speaks of having healing qualities. And even if you do an ancestry test, you may have indigenous roots or indigenous blood coursing through your veins, because the medicine that you carry, you were born with that as well. It's part of your tribe, it's part of your lineage. So that may be interesting for you to do an ancestry test if you haven't yet, because I'm just getting that people like sitting around you or being around you. Or you may notice when you go into, like, you can be somewhere where there's no people, and then an hour later there's people sitting around you, pets coming up to you, dogs coming up to you, babies staring at you. Like, you have very potent energy, and it's very rare the way you can carry it, because it doesn't look like you feel the need to hide it anymore. I heard anymore. So that is also showing me exactly this threshold you are at, where a new, like, an old era is coming to an end and a new era is starting, where you may also suddenly, or not suddenly, like through, I guess, walking this path, you're becoming more comfortable with who you are. And exactly due to what I've been channeling for you and picking up on at the beginning, that you actually sat with, like, you actually went down this path where you got to study yourself and learn about yourself and learn about who you are at a deeper level that is making you sort of unfuckwithable. Because what do you do with a person who knows themselves and knows deeper layers and also has already confronted their own darkness? What do you do with a person like that? Like, what do you do if you want to slander a person like that? It's not going to stick. And that's exactly what I meant with, like, at a prior, when you were maybe still more immersed in, like, whether it's an environment where there was a lot of people that were, like, dependent on hive mind, and like, we're all in this together, we all look the same, we all talk the same, we validate each other, we know nobody has to do any sort of inner work, because we don't hold each other accountable, we just do whatever the fuck we want to do, and we belong together. It's just, you never seem to have been a part of that, and you may have gotten attacked and slandered exactly for that reason as well. And that's what I mean with this superiority. It's like, you may just have held yourself at a standard, or you just unapologetically followed your path and followed the calling and followed what was being laid out to you and what you were being initiated through, whilst having to deal with people misunderstanding you and calling you a snob or calling you arrogant or saying she or he thinks they're better than us. And it's a lot of subtly like trying to, it feels to me, the way I'm picking up on this, that there was a lot of adversity in the sense that people saw your power, or even saw like that you have a bigger purpose than just you, before you recognized it. So there was a lot of trying to keep you from recognizing that, because what will that mean if you start recognizing? What will it mean for them, especially if these are people that like only feel that what you seem to have attracted is people that do not feel powerful within their own energy. Like they do not feel powerful by themselves. And that's what I meant. I keep getting on this energy of like group and hive mind, and there's different, there's different types of groups that come together. There's groups that come together that have already been individualized. They've already gone through their own share of experiences and meet at a different caliber than those that are solely together to validate, like just we're just here because I don't want to think for myself and I don't want to carry my shit, like let's just find one scapegoat and we'll just make them responsible for everything. So there's different types of groups, like here as well. You may realize or have realized this for yourself, that there's groups where you exactly just don't want to be a part of, because you can feel that you would have to lower yourself, you would have to shrink yourself for others to feel comfortable. And there's groups where you can feel like you can bring, and others are bringing what you are bringing. There's no like sense of feeling threatened. There's no, you have to think the way I think. Like there's real collaboration and there's real like community. So it just seems like you're really learning to discern that as well. And I keep getting this is exactly what this part of like an old era ending and a new era beginning, because of what you've experienced and because of what you've walked through. You're just more likely to understand what it is that you need, what generally is good for you, where your standards are, and how you don't need to explain yourself to anyone, and that no is a full answer. Like it seems like sort of like the way I'm summarizing it, I'm getting this sense it feels simple, but for whoever this reading is for, how much it took you to get to where you are now. And that's why I really want you to celebrate this, and I really want you to just accept and receive the blessings that are to come, because you're really stepping into a new era. Like you've really reached a stage within your life where you will not have to repeat things that apparently you had to experience then for you to become unfuckwithable, or for your like internal calibration and your internal structure to be so strong. And again, this is very rare. You're not going to come across a lot of people that have really been able to accomplish this within this lifetime. So I feel extremely honored that I can read for you. I feel extremely honored that you come across this video. Please subscribe so you don't miss other readings that will be for you. And also check out Patreon if you wanna I don't think I need to tell you again. It's all linked below, like just so you have an understanding of how the work is structured, because these are all public readings. And if you wanna have deeper layers addressed and also have access to more practical work, that will be on Patreon. So I'm just gonna link it all below so you can read through that yourself. And I would love to have you subscribe and comment if you feel like you have something to share about this. And don't forget to celebrate how far you've come, because this really does seem like a massive accomplishment. And I'm extremely curious to hear what this new era is going to look like for you, or maybe I even pick up on it and I will read for it in the coming, and we'll read for you in the coming readings. Much love.